In this video, we are going to be talking about sacred timings and karma. We'll start by looking at the cosmic perspective and the new light. So, you may have observed that it's been a transformational ride for humanity since the beginning of 2020 at least, and global change has amplified in the years since then. And I want to give you a cosmic perspective on what is happening behind the external changes. It's important to know why this time in humanity's history is so key. And if you chose to incarnate at this time, at some level, your soul knows that this is an important time. So, simply put, humanity is in a transition between ages. We are moving from what used to be the third dimensional 3D, 4D Earth to fifth dimensional or 5D Earth. And it's known by many different names: higher dimensional, new Earth, and many other names. But simply put, it's the end of an age. We are moving from Kali Yuga to Satyug. There are many names given to this transition. However, it's a move to a new age of higher consciousness, also called unity consciousness, where compassion, respect, peace are the norm, and love is the dominant emotion. We are moving from an age where we didn't have access to all of our heart consciousness to more of being able to be in the heart with love and compassion leading the way, where there is honor and respect for all life and our uniqueness is honored. So, how is this happening exactly? This is possible now due to the position of our solar system and alignment with galactic center that allows for higher consciousness light to come in through the center of our galaxy and beyond through our sun and increase solar activity into the earth, raising the vibration of earth herself. Now, this higher consciousness light doesn't just affect the Earth, it affects the entire solar system and beyond as well. So, astrologically, this is reflected in the kinds of planetary transits and alignments that create change that have been increasing and intensifying in the past many years. And these alignments will continue to increase in the years to come. So this higher dimensional cosmic light streaming in through our galactic center, simply put, it's pure divine creator light which has the purpose of awakening humanity. Now, how does this light affect us? The effect of the light shows up in many different ways. Even if this information is new to you, you may have noticed just how much change humanity has gone through in the past few years, and you yourself may be awakening to change in many areas of your life. So, these are some of the ways that the light wakes us up. It's light. It will first highlight the darkness that has been hidden for a long time. So it may seem like things are worsening in the external world, when in reality, it is simply bringing awareness to that which already existed so that we can transform it. Remember, it's awakening your heart. Then this light starts to break apart density, old structures that are not in the highest interest of all, old habits that are keeping us stuck in loops, old heavy emotions and thought patterns. It will start to break those up. It makes us more aware of change needed in our lives. We feel a need to give up old habits and pick up new ones. We start to become aware of the dense, heavy areas of our life and we start to feel really uncomfortable about it. So, the discomfort that we feel is very normal, and that is what becomes a catalyst for change. It creates a longing, sometimes even an urgency for change. The old unaligned stuff starts to get stifling, and misaligned patterns become more obvious. Next, our physical bodies feel the light. Our bodies are meant to absorb this light and evolve. So, if we are not taking care of our bodies in the best way possible, our body will let us know that. That is why we may feel a desire to eat better, sleep more, get appropriate exercise, fresh air, sunlight, really supporting our body by changing our routine habits that have not been in the best interest of our health. Now, as the body absorbs and embodies more light, it awakens new expression in us. The things that we used to enjoy doing no longer give us satisfaction. So, first, it pushes to the surface of our awareness misaligned karmic patterns. We notice a longing to become more authentic, or else it gets suffocating. It feels stifling, like something is off. You may feel an urgency to change your job, your career, your relationships, hobbies, interests, everything. And then this impacts how we communicate with others because they sense or they see us changing. So, responding consciously to this light is key. It can feel intense and chaotic at first, especially if we have not dealt with the heavy stuff. There has been so much change in recent years, and that's true. But recognize that this higher dimensional light is first waking us up to the patterns that are no longer working for us. So it highlights that in our life that needs to be resolved and changed, patterns that don't serve our highest potential. And that is why this change often may feel intense. Now, this shift in consciousness is inevitable. We can see the collapse of external structures in the past many years, and this can be triggering because we are exposed to rapid change consistently and we are having to honestly face what has not been working in our lives anymore. Recognize that when we are going through changing times, we can expect the chaos of new creation, but the future is not set. Your vibration and your expression during these times matters a great deal. Who you are being in this time, how you express, it shapes humanity and will determine how this shift in consciousness plays out. So it is important to be aware of how the light is expecting us to change. This light allows us to raise our vibration, our consciousness, and our expression changes. But to move into a higher expression, we need to drop the old baggage, the patterns that are not working anymore, that are misaligned, and that is what this course is going to help you with. Now let's talk about what is karma. This is where the karmic patterns come in. This is such a beautiful time to be alive because the higher consciousness light starts to dissolve the density of karmic patterns if we choose to do so. This free will choice to engage in the ascension process is key. This time is great for taking steps to resolve old baggage. So, this transition between the ages, it allows for the resolution of karma. Going forward, we don't have karma. We don't have to come back and repeat lessons if we complete them in this lifetime. So, the amount of higher consciousness light shining on the planet is such that we have the opportunity and the ability to resolve it in this lifetime. And the Pluto, Chiron, and Saturn archetypes that we will cover in the next module, they are related to karma, that is, unresolved patterns. So, simply put, karma is nothing but old unresolved patterns that keep you stuck in repeating unhealthy loops. It's unresolved energy in our system that is not aligned with divine love and it's looking for resolution. It is most often unconscious till we wake up and do something about it. So anything that is not aligned with divine love will come up to be resolved. And that is what we experience as lessons to be learned. And sometimes they come up over and over till we really get it. Now let's talk about how this unresolved energy shows up. It can show up as mental, emotional, and physical issues. Examples are thoughts that are constantly negative, heavy emotions like grief and anger, chronic physical issues. There is a heaviness, a density to these patterns, a stickiness. We may feel pain and discomfort. It feels not very nice to be in them. We may feel very trapped, and there is often an absence of freedom. Another way that this can show up is through relationship problems. And that's how we learn about love, about unity consciousness, through the relationships and the problems that we face in our relationships. Remember that we are meant to learn about being divine love, of feeling wholeness, of honoring the uniqueness, honoring ourselves. And when we honor ourselves, we can honor the opposite person. So these dynamics will often show up in relationships. Repeated patterns like addictions and loops that are hard to come out of is another sign. Karma is repeated patterns showing up again and again. Patterns of fear, control, inner critic, feeling less than, feeling not good enough, lack, judgment are also related to unresolved energy. So, all of these are the opposite of divine love, and all of these are clues to where you may be stuck and where resolution is needed to move on to a higher expression. We can be held back by these blocks that will not allow us to step into a more aligned, powerful, authentic identity. But remember that you have an opportunity in this lifetime to consciously resolve these old stories and patterns, complete the old lessons. Otherwise, you're expressing through this past self, through the old limiting stories that are up for deletion. Especially if you feel an urgency to wipe the slate clean and you have a strong commitment to resolving the old patterns, you can consciously work through them and move through the lessons. So ask yourself, if you were not experiencing the inner critic, who would you be? So, this is just an example of how we are going to be unpacking these patterns. It's not always an easy journey, it requires courage and compassion to face it. Now, um, I want to tie this back to our life purpose. Often people wonder what their life purpose is, and whether you express it through your work, through your career, your role, or other activity, the ultimate goal is to recognize that we are divine creator in this form, to embody the love of divine creator. That is a fundamental lesson that every soul has come here to learn. Everything else is just a way that it expresses. So, coming back into our sovereignty is a big part of our soul purpose. Having the courage to feel as if we are the divine creator, that is our highest expression. That unconditional love of self is a big part of our purpose. And it's very hard to feel ourselves as divine souls if we are not sovereign beings. And that is where the karmic lessons will show up. We may um, where we don't feel sovereignty, or where we don't feel like we have freedom and sovereignty. So all of these patterns need to be resolved, otherwise the past keeps us stuck in the old expression. It's the same with divine love. We may know intellectually that we are creator beings. However, a lot of unresolved patterns like doubt, fear, self judgment, etc., they keep us from feeling that consistently. So, when we drop the old patterns, that is a resolution of karma, the new expression of self starts to come through. We are free to create the new self if the old self is resolved, and space is created within us for the new expression if it's not being blocked by old mental emotional patterns. This is why you may feel compelled to heal your expression, and this is why there is a deep longing to feel authentically expressed. This impacts everything in our lives: career, relationships, your relationship with your own self, how we feel joy. And so now, with the increasing levels of light, we are able to take advantage of this new energy and move ahead and create our life from our highest expression. So, how do we resolve it? The first step is addressing the pain. If we have not dealt with the pain of the blocks ourselves, it is harder to have compassion for others' journeys. In extreme cases, there may be a tendency to inflict that unresolved pain on others. It's important to realize that unresolved stuff from the past may play out over and over. This cosmic light is highlighting where we need to address the pain, and you will see it reflected in outer world events as well. Think of how much pain a person must be in order to reach a point where they are inflicting it on others. How much unresolved anger, grief, judgment there is. Now ask yourself, where is there pain? Where do you feel hurt? Where are the blocks and triggers in your own life? How might that be impacting the others in your life, consciously or unconsciously? And this course is about becoming aware of the places where we hurt within and transmuting that through courage, which is a gift of Pluto, through compassion, which is a gift of Chiron, and through self authority, which is a gift of Saturn. So we are taking command of our own expression, our own life journey, our own path, and our own potential. You're not letting unconscious old patterns impact how you show up anymore, and your current expression will give you clues. So, here are some things to watch out for. Note these in your journal. You're going to want to apply the techniques to these areas. Default mental state. What's your default mental state? How do you think on a moment by moment basis? Do you have negative, critical thoughts, sad thoughts, or are they positive on a default basis? Then, next, what is your default emotional state? Do you feel optimistic, peaceful, or do you have low level anxiety, fear, grief? The next thing to ask yourself is, what are the things that trigger you? That's a big clue. Where you judge, where you have strong opinions and judgments, what triggers you, who triggers you. These are all the places where we can start to examine our current expression. Unhealthy loops, patterns, habits, routines, we start to honestly examine these. And finally, to resolve old patterns, you make a commitment to back yourself up, that you will support yourself to move through this no matter how long it takes. Unconditional support, compassion, and kindness for yourself is key. This is what will allow you to bring all these old patterns to a resolution. We are going to be diving deep into this in later modules because we cannot hope to resolve personal karma if we don't show compassion and love for ourselves. Remember that the love of the divine creator within starts with the love of self itself. Thank you.